Have you ever walked past a statue and felt like its eyes were following you? In the quiet town of Oakhaven, that feeling is more than just a passing shiver. It's a warning. Oakhaven Park is famous for its collection of lifelike stone statues, a serene attraction by day. Tourists and locals alike admire the intricate craftsmanship, the stoic figures frozen in time. But when the sun sets and the park gates are locked, something unsettling happens. The statues, they move. It started subtly. A groundskeeper would find a statue's head turned slightly to the left when he was sure it was facing right the day before. A bench that was empty would suddenly have a stone figure seated on it, its back to the main path. At first, people dismissed it as pranks, kids fooling around after hours. But the pranks became more frequent, more impossible. How could anyone move a 2-ton granite soldier several feet overnight without heavy machinery? The town's whispers grew louder, evolving from playful rumors into a genuine, chilling urban legend. The locals started warning everyone. Stay away from Oakhaven Park after dark. One night, a young, skeptical security guard named Leo decided to get to the bottom of it. Armed with his flashlight and a high-resolution camera, he was determined to expose the pranksters. He began his patrol just after midnight. The park bathed in the eerie glow of the moon. Everything seemed normal. The statues stood motionless, just as he remembered them from his daytime walkthrough. He started with the Pioneer Woman, a statue of a woman holding a child, her gaze fixed on the horizon. Leo snapped a photo, the bright flash illuminating her stone face. He noted the time, 12:15 a.m. He continued his patrol, checking the perimeter fence, the restrooms, the playground on Awarpased. As he made his way back to the main promenade, he passed the Pioneer Woman again. He stopped dead in his tracks. His heart hammered against his ribs. She was closer, not by much, maybe just a foot. But she was definitely closer to the path. He fumbled for his camera, his hands trembling slightly, and took another picture. He compared the two photos on the small screen. There was no doubt. She had moved. But how? He hadn't heard a thing. A cold dread began to creep up his spine. He decided to test his theory. He turned his back to the statue, counted to 10, and slowly turned back around. He gasped. She was closer still. Her stone eyes now seemed to be looking directly at him, not the horizon. He could have sworn the gentle, maternal smile etched on her face had tightened, twisted into something less welcoming. He backed away slowly, never taking his eyes off her. He shone his flashlight on the other statues lining the path. The soldier, the poet, the weeping angel. They all seemed to have shifted, inching forward from their pedestals, converging on the path he was on. Then he heard it, a deep, grinding sound. Scrape. Drag. It was the sound of stone grating against stone, a heavy, laborious noise that vibrated through the soles of his shoes. It was coming from all around him. Leo broke into a cold sweat. He started walking faster, his flashlight beam darting from one statue to another. Every time the light left a figure and returned, it was closer. The weeping angel, which was once dozens of feet away, was now just yards from him, its hands no longer covering its face. One stone hand was outstretched, as if reaching for him. He began to run, his panicked breaths echoing in the silent night. The scraping sounds grew louder, more frantic, turning into heavy, rhythmic thuds. It sounded like footsteps, giant, stone footsteps, chasing him through the darkness. He didn't dare look back. He just ran, his mind screaming, fueled by pure terror. He finally burst through the park's main gate, fumbling with the lock before spilling out onto the safety of the lit street. He leaned against the cold iron bars, gasping for air, and looked back into the park. In the faint moonlight, he could see them. The statues were all back on their pedestals, perfectly still, as if nothing had happened. But he knew what he saw. He had the pictures to prove it. Leo quit his job the next day, handing over his camera and a frantic, rambling report. His boss laughed it off, but when he looked at the photos, the smile vanished from his face. The town council tried to suppress the story, fearing a panic that would destroy their tourism. They claimed the ground was unstable, causing the statues to shift over time. But the locals knew better. They had seen the fresh cracks in the pavement around the statue's bases, cracks that weren't there the day before. They had heard the strange sounds at night. The legend of Oakhaven Park took a much darker turn a few months later. A group of teenagers, daring each other on a dare, decided to spend the night in the park. They were never seen again. A frantic search party scoured every inch of the grounds, but they found nothing. No clues, no signs of a struggle. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. The town was gripped by fear. Parents locked their doors, and a strict curfew was enforced. The park was closed indefinitely after sundown. A week after the teenagers disappeared, a maintenance worker doing a routine check in the now deserted park noticed something new. Tucked away in a small, previously empty alcove were several new statues. They were smaller than the others, depicting young people in modern clothes. One was a boy on a skateboard, another a girl looking at a phone. Their faces were frozen in expressions of shock and terror. The maintenance worker, a man who had lived in Oakhaven his entire life, felt a wave of nausea wash over him. He recognized them. Their faces, their clothes, they looked exactly like the missing teenagers. The official story is that an anonymous artist donated them in tribute to the lost youths. But nobody in Oakhaven believes that. They believe the park took them. They believe that if you're caught in the park after dark, you don't just disappear. You become a permanent part of its collection. You become a statue, frozen in stone for eternity. Your silent scream a warning to all who pass by. To this day, Oakhaven Park is open during the day. The statues stand silent and still, admired by unsuspecting visitors. But as dusk approaches, a chill settles over the park that has nothing to do with the temperature. And if you listen closely, just as the sun disappears below the horizon, you might hear a faint, grinding sound. The sound of stone waking up. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the unknown. Stay safe, and whatever you do, don't look away.